everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post. My name is Drew Larison. This show is partnered with Walls Furniture and Mattress, as well as a few other partners we have. IPT, spring sports season is around the corner, and IPT Screen Printing is the place to go for all of your uniform needs. Contact Kyle Fouts at 765-480-3082 for more information. It's a 20-shirt minimum required. Check them out on Facebook. That's IPT Screen Printing, screen printed apparel for any occasion and uniform for any sport. Family Fun Factory Outlet. Springtime is here, and Family Fun Factory Outlet, Indiana, has the state's largest selection of cedar play sets to choose from. Located just south of Crossroads Church on 931 in Kokomo, Fun Factory Outlet, Indiana, is offering a 36-month financing at 0% interest, or you can save as much as 15% by paying cash or card. Sale runs through April 30th. Call them today at 522-PLAY. Once again, that's 522-PLAY. Get your kids outside and play this spring and upcoming summer with Fun Family Outlet, Fun Factory Outlet, Indiana. Nailed it.
Say that fast.
My computer went black. That's what happened. I was reading that. Yeah, so thank you to those sponsors of the show. Mr. Mayor, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again this week.
Well, it'd be kind of a weird show.
It might be a little weird.
The Mayor Tyler Moore Show without Mayor Tyler Moore.
Although we did talk about...
you're welcome. It's happy to have you.
An episode coming up that maybe our wives do it.
We've talked about that for a while.
We'll see.
We've talked about having Jennifer Jordan from City Hall come and be in a video. Maybe Tori Rhodes. We've dabbled with some ideas, but it's just you and me.
Which is fine.
I'm in all the episodes now, guys.
Aaron.
That's
Once
me.
again, we need to find out a cue because I never know how to introduce you.
Hey.
So you're
Producer
here.
Aaron.
Hey, y'all.
You're here.
Hey.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Great. Full. All kinds of Easter-y stuff going on.
All the Easter things.
Yeah, which just means because we hosted my wife's family for Easter brunch, which means the weekend began with a honey-do list to make sure that the house inside and out was in proper form for the Easter holiday, and it worked. Everything went well. And
what was the hardest task you had to do?
Yard work. I mean, that was the first time we did it for the year, and so it was a little thick and patchy in areas, and
it's good that you got it done because it snowed.
Oh no! And then this morning, my gosh,
did anybody see that coming? I've been looking at forecasts and I did not see that.
I took a look at it last night because my mom got us all planners, and my sisters left theirs at their house, so I had to give them a hard time about that. But then my sister's like, hey, guys, if you get it home, get it inside because it's supposed to freeze overnight. And I went, what? So I looked at the temperature, and I thought, it looks like there's a chance of maybe some snow, rain mix, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. And got up this morning to, about almost half an inch of wet snow. It was all over the place. It was crazy. Oh, yeah.
You know what this show has done to me is and I'm not kidding, my first thought when I saw the snow on the ground was, the asphalt plant.
The asphalt
Can't get that up and running because of the cold. I'm not kidding. It was one of my first thoughts I saw because I knew we were filming today. And
you're on, yeah.
Lord knows the people that watch this show love questions about street work and sidewalk work, and I've learned a lot about the asphalt plant.
Believe it.
Yeah. So I don't know. And it's supposed to be 80 on Saturday. Like, if that's not the most Indiana thing.
And the thing is, and I was talking with our street superintendent, Clint Van Adder, and just because we've been all over the city, and it does seem like, a lot more streets have issues in regards to cracking and small potholes and everything. And really, I mean, the way he looks at it, because those are created with, rise in temperatures, decrease in temperatures and water working their way in, that because it was such a roller coaster weather ride all winter. I mean, I know we had some heavy stuff, but then it would get warm and then get, that there was a lot more freezing and thawing than in recent years past, because typically we have a good hard freeze. It snows and it just stays cold for a long period of time, and it just freezes everything up. Whereas this past winter, it seemed like there was a lot of hot, cold, and so it wreaked a little more havoc on some of the streets than we had liked. So we're going to try a few measures just because there's so many. We're going to get back to crack and sealing and cracking.
All the things
like that, and but yeah, we're hoping
popping and locking.
Yep.
Absolutely,
sealing and cracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we had a pretty, Eastery weekend as well, and ended it at my mom's house for a bit, and she has a pool, and I just was staring at it thinking, I want that so much, but we'll have to wait a little bit more for that, it seems like. Yeah, so what's going on at City Hall this week?
City Hall this week, a lot of meetings. We're in the middle of contract negotiations with our ASME guys, with our streets, wastewater, parks, trolley employees, working on those. So a couple series of meetings of that. Our much anticipated report on the status of and possible roadmap for our fire department is in. We've met with fire leadership as well, and so we're getting things together and then thoughts to get back with them and get something released to the folks soon on what we hope to see as we enter budget season with that. So excited for that. Outside of that, just a lot of spring cleaning, getting things ready. Like you said, waiting for the temperatures to even out and stay consistent so we can knock some things out. I wait and see what some of the questions are. But yeah, I mean, with what we want to do and what the utility companies still need to do to clean up and such, we need that asphalt plant open and flowing so that we can get on some cleanup.
Sure, yeah. What was I going to ask you? Oh, last week we talked about there was an audit happening of the fire department.
Yes.
Has that happened?
That's what I mentioned. So we did receive those results and met with fire leadership last week just to get the report in those hands. And so we're gathering thoughts, getting kind of an idea of what we'd like to see happen and for some follow-up meetings as we start to prepare for our budget season again this summer. But yeah, I know there are folks that are anxiously awaiting some type of release for those reports. And once we get a plan in place that everybody signs on to, which hopefully will be sooner than later. It may be a time thing, but we'll get those out to everybody. But yeah, I mean, it confirms a lot of what they've told us, what we've also kind of acknowledged or witnessed with challenges within the department over the last handful of years, and where we probably need to be, where we would like to be and such. And so just make sure that we're all on the same roadmap, heading in the right direction.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of negotiations. Or contract negotiations and things like that. Well,
with not necessarily the contract with that, but working within what the budgetary constraints and even the staffing complaints. I mean, that was staffing constraints, because that's where a lot of what we'd like to do, like bring an ambulance back into service, get additional guys on trucks. It has to do with trying to rebuild those staffing numbers, because both police and fire are in the same boat, that, we're actively recruiting and bringing new officers and firefighters on, but because both departments have such an aging workforce that, it's the net gain game, if you will, that we keep playing, that, you take, add a couple bodies and lose a couple bodies, add a couple bodies, lose a couple bodies, just due to retirement or injury. So working on that.
Gotcha. Yep. All right, so let's get into the questions today. We've got 4 good ones to go through today.
Great.
Ask the Mayor segment partnered with our friends at
Lexi's Drink Barn.
If you're a soda fountain fan in Kokomo, which if you live in Kokomo, you probably are. Lexi's is the place to go. I'm a 44-ounce Coke Zero with vanilla. That's my go-to order, which actually, that's an interesting debate. Are you a Coke Zero or Diet Coke person or regular Coke person?
Right.
Well, I'm asking.
Are you asking me? Oh, I'm regular Coke.
Regular Coke?
Yeah, I've not had enough of the other two to work through the aftertaste.
Coke Zero, that's the thing about it. There is no aftertaste to me.
And I'm just not.
Or maybe it's because there's just vanilla with it, so I don't taste the aftertaste.
That's really what it is. Okay. I think it's that you're putting the sugar that you would have in a regular Coke back into the Coke Zero.
But still a good choice if you're going to put the sugar in.
Well, they
Take
also
some of
have
the sugar
sugar-free
out.
vanilla and sugar-free cherry too.
They do. They do. But the vanilla at Lexi's,
It's different. It hits different.
gosh,
It hits different.
It is something. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, that was
there you go.
Important question though: do you call all fountain drinks Cokes, or do you call them like sodas?
I usually call them what they are.
A bubbler?
Do?
I do. You know, like if I want a Sprite, and I'll say, "Oh, can I have a Coke or can I have a soda?"
Are you sure you were raised here?
I know. I wonder if I'm
in
in
a conversation.
because have we talked about that too? I mean, just the way that the people throw R's into words. You know, like I'm the only one in my family that washes my clothes instead of washes
washing
them.
them.
Washes them.
So
Or down on
kind of the same
Washington
way.
Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Man.
there's people like to pluralize things too. You know, like Myers, Kroger's.
Yep. That's not just my mom moved here from New York, and she Myers is everything.
She does.
Kroger's, all the things,
Just lover of excess.
all
So
of
just
them.
pluralize
There's
everything.
a possessive in everything. There's someone named Meyer, and he owns a whole
So
lot of
that's old
stores.
Myers' place.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But if I don't know what I want, or we're talking in generalities,
Yeah.
I go with soda as opposed to Coke.
Same.
Interesting.
Same.
Interesting. All right, first question is from our friend
Okay.
Roger. Roger, always thanks for the
Thank
good
you,
questions.
Roger.
And this is a really good question. Between the city council, mayor, and all the other department heads, can you please help me understand what decisions each have the power to make? I imagine the department heads make more of the day-to-day decisions, while mayor and city council help carve out the long-term plans and make the big money decisions. But is there a more concrete answer to who makes what decisions within the city?
So I made a commitment to the department heads that, not being an expert in street and asphalt or fire, police, wastewater and such, that I was going to get those players in place and allow them to run their departments as they see fit and as efficiently and staffed as they can, with input from myself if they need. If they have questions with on purchases or staffing, or if they just need input that way, and I try to keep tabs on that as well to provide them the support they need there. But ultimately, I suppose you could say it is my decision as to how a department gets run. I not one to truly micromanage, but like to be involved, to know what's going on, to offer suggestions as I may feel would potentially work, but still work with them. Now, City Council can also provide some input, but they're really the keepers of the checkbook and passers of ordinances and such. So decisions that are made for planning, for different laws that are put in place, obviously called ordinances, fall under the guise and the authority of the city council. So even with planning and development and such, a lot of those go through the planning commission or board of zoning appeals, but each of those bodies then make recommendations. So they vote yay or nay, but that recommendation then goes to the city council, and the city council has the final say. Now, if something is with board of zoning appeals, doesn't necessarily have to come to the city council because it's something that the owner may be asking for an exception or a variance to an ordinance already in place. So the ordinance is already in place. They're just asking for permission to use the property a little differently. So actually, the Board of Zoning Appeals has the authority to do that without City Council. But as for day-to-day operations, again, the department heads are given that ability or authority to run, but ultimately it's my decision if I so choose, and really city council is just more advisory as well as approving the final budgets within which the departments and city runs.
It's comparable, I'm guessing. It's just like a corporation, and city council is the board of directors.
Board of directors.
Or something like that, where bigger things, bigger budget changes, things like that go. Well, the board would have to vote on that,
Right.
type of thing.
Yep.
Gotcha. Great question, then, Roger.
Yeah,
I mean, that
excellent.
question is example of why we do this show, like helping learn how municipality government works.
Well, do you ever in that, do you ever receive news of this is what the department head is doing, planning, trying to spend money on, and say, no, that's not how, I think we're going to walk it back from there. Like, do you ever sort
Yes.
of like veto it for
absolutely.
lack of a better word?
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess you could say veto, but also kind of work with them to still achieve what they're trying to. But at the same time, if it's something, major outside of just a normal day-to-day operation or something, yes, they'll bring it to me. And if it's something that may not fit in with a certain plan that we have in place, for the city or initiatives or,
what's an example of something that you've done that with?
I know when we were completing Championship Park, the previous plans did call for turf on the infield and natural grass on the outfield, and seeing challenges on that. I told them, let's run some numbers. I'd rather have it all turf so that people, even though the turf would allow them to play, there still would be questionable areas out in the outfield if it was grass. So that was something that changed once I got in.
So maybe just mainly landscaping decisions. That's
only when sports are involved.
Yeah.
What else was a good example of equipment purchases? I know there was a specific department that wanted to replace some of the trucks in their fleet, and sat down with the controller and said, these still have some miles on them. Maybe we can get a little bit more. So kind of putting a next on some of the requests that they wanted for particular trucks to replace what we already had, or to kind of share or swap between departments as well. So,
gotcha.
A little bit of that.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Next question is, I think, from my good friend Carl. And Carl on Facebook, apparently we've missed some of his questions.
Oh.
And Carl would like to apologize because you start this off
Carl.
by saying, I would like to know. No, I'll take fall. I look for the questions too. Carl said, I would like to know why my questions never get answered.
Oh.
And Carl, I apologize. I do know that I have answered some of your questions because you've also called me rude before. So I know I must have responded to one of your questions before because you didn't like how I responded to it. So sorry if I missed some of them.
This is starting out well.
This is great. No, it's Carl. We're going to become friends. Carl.
I'm excited. Carl's given some good questions before. Carl has a lot of the same sentiments that we see from a lot of people who say hey, we want more stuff to do in Kokomo. So,
yep.
Continue.
All right, so here's Carl's questions.
Okay.
I have asked about the trash cans and the recycling cans. Why the homeowners can never take them back to their houses instead of leaving them at the curb all the time. Because if it rains in big windy days, it blows the cans over. Then if any trash left, it can blow all over the street. Then it gets in the drains. Then it clogs the drains. Carl on Facebook.
So he wants to know, say it again, why people won't take their totes.
He wants to know why homeowners won't take their trash cans up to their homes.
Right. And actually, we encourage and ask them to, for multiple reasons. One, because people typically park along the streets. And at the same time, as he mentioned, if there's a wind event or something and they get blown over, they become a traffic hazard and such. So it's unfortunate that more people, after the trash is collected, that they don't take them back up to their homes as they're required to do, for that reason, that if there's still trash or remnants left in it, then they can blow all over the neighborhood. But yes, folks are expected to take their totes, both trash and recycling, back up to their homes after both are collected. So could just be a public service notice that we continue to put out in regards to trash and recycling.
Well, what happens if they don't, right? I will say we have forgotten.
Straight to jail.
We have forgotten before. What happens if this becomes a chronic, I'm not going to bring my trash can in situation?
If it continues to create a traffic hazard, they can be cited.
Straight to jail.
But not straight to jail. No.
Excuse me, straight to prison.
They would probably first be notified. We'd send inspectional services out to maybe give a polite reminder to take their totes up to the home, especially if it's a chronic situation and continues to create a traffic hazard.
Can I ask a question?
Always.
Has that ever happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Really? Where you've had to send a letter?
Yes.
Because of a trash tote?
Either send a letter or had inspectional services go up and politely ask folks to. I mean, it doesn't happen that often because there are certain areas of the city where because there's a entire block where the majority of them, you may leave them out.
At that point, it sounds like a protest
Yeah.
more than anything. If a whole block leaves them out.
So,
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can find out where Carl lives and zone in on that area. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not going to put
but
your
yeah,
address out on the
we'd
internet.
like to put because again, we're looking at curbside recycling and where we're headed with that. But part of where we want to get is more community buy-in. So as part of our public service announcements, reminding folks what can be recycled and what shouldn't, and such, that we can put in an additional reminder as well. Hey, that's recycling. This is trash. But regardless, get your totes up to your house. So
Also, if you put a pizza box in the recycling tote,
don't do it.
straight to jail.
Straight.
Next question is from Kevin on Facebook. He wants to know if you would be interested in doing a hero workout on May 27th at Kokomo Municipal Stadium with CrossFit Kokomo. By the way, Kevin, nice free plug on the show. Had to throw in the company name there. I'm going to invoice him.
I would be very interested in doing a hero workout on the 27th. I don't believe
Every
I'm
workout
gonna
he does is a hero workout.
just because I wear my
Superman.
my Captain America T-shirt or Batman or Green Lantern.
Well, yeah,
or something,
Aaron, you
but
can speak to this.
I was going to say, I saw you just at the Y just a couple weeks ago. You were doing some running.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do think you were in
I was probably wearing my
T-shirt.
Yeah, I was probably wearing my
that.
Captain America.
Yep, it was casual mayor.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was casual mayor day.
Aaron, can you speak to, I guess, you're a CrossFitter, so tell us what the hero workout is. Since he already got the plug, might as well talk more about the event.
It's a workout called Murph, and this
It's on Memorial Day, right?
It is on Memorial Day weekend, and it's a mile run, and then it is. I'm going to screw it up, but I think it is 300 squats, 200 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, and then another mile run. So it's at the stadium. Yeah.
Here now,
He wants to invite you.
Here's the thing. What I've heard is you can do modifications.
True
and
story.
It still counts.
Absolutely.
I might have to modify that.
That's
Holy
fine.
cow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Huh?
Mentally tough and
300.
physically
You
tough.
said 300 squats, 200.
Pull-up
pull-ups?
or ring rows. You can do a row on rings.
What's a ring row?
It's
Carnival. No, it's the circus. Those circus rings, but like you kind of do something with those. Yeah. It's a lot easier than a full
Okay.
pull-up.
You can modify some push-ups. You could do
Okay.
half Murph. You can do half mile and half the reps.
Quarter
Lots of
Murph.
options.
Okay.
Lots of options.
And
So
Murph-
that'll be at the stadium.
Murph is an acronym
Oh, yeah.
for
It
what?
was the last name, correct?
It is. It is. And I don't know.
M-U-R-P-H.
PH, yeah.
Oh, so
Yes.
it's
That's
after
the name of
the
a service
founder.
Yep. So all of those
Got it.
hero workouts are all for people who have lost their
Perfect.
lives in combat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. Very, from what I've heard, again, never done it. I've been told it is very challenging mentally, very challenging physically, but also sort of the impetus behind it is like, hey, this is hard, but like we all get to go home at the end of the day. And like these guys
Oh,
did
true.
not.
Yeah, and they
Right?
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty
All
cool.
right. Looks like I need to change my workout to get ready.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll check out Kokomo Post.
Got a month and a half.
We'll talk more about that when we get closer to that event, and I will be there.
You're doing it too?
No, I'll be there with the camera. I'll be there with
You
a
could.
camera filming it because we'll do like some cool video about it because it is cool. I know I've seen pictures and things like that, and CrossFit Kokomo just kind of takes over Kokomo Municipal Stadium that day, and a lot of people there. Usually the weather's nice.
Did they do it in the fall too?
I want to say this is their 6th or 7th
I was
year.
going to say they've done it a couple of years, and I think it was after that last one. They said,
Yeah.
"Hey,
Done at
you
the
weren't there." I was
stadium.
like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah, they do
They've
a
done it
few
lots of
events, like
places.
fundraising events throughout the
You
year.
also get some food from Love Bug Food Truck in Tipton.
Okay.
I believe you might get an adult beverage.
You have
as
your
well.
option, I feel
Yeah.
like, is what I
Lots
was
of
told.
choices.
Oh, okay.
That was a full-on ad.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Kevin.
There's a whole bunch of there's a couple of
CrossFit
people from
Love
our
Bug.
team who are going to be on there. So from our Kokomo Post team. So we keep trying to talk to everyone.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
So
All right,
fun.
moving on.
All right.
Chat on Facebook. What's the status of the Oxford house that was allowed in Foster or Forest Park? Is there anything that can be done to have it removed? Can there be zoning in place to keep this from happening in the future?
Unfortunately, the fair housing laws prevented any type of action to be taken against that use, because it is a permitted use with the number of individuals that are in there proposed for the home, and because they're not providing any medical services or counseling services, then unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. I mean, it's fortunate for those that are working through transitions, in their lives, but we did look into it, and because the use of the home fit within the city ordinances, as well as was protected under the fair housing laws, there was no legal action that could be taken to prevent that permitted use of the residence from occurring.
I guess for people that don't know, and I maybe should have prefaced this, what is the Oxford House?
So the Oxford House is, I mean, it's an organization that purchases residential homes in communities to allow or to serve as transition type homes. So those that are working through struggles in their lives, that are looking for the next step to be taken, a safe and secure, stable place to live, to work through their challenges. It's just a home that's used as kind of a group home.
And that's like a nonprofit?
So it's a nonprofit organization, I believe nonprofit. Well, yes, I believe that's why it was protected under fair housing. And so because they don't provide medical services or counseling or anything, that it doesn't classify as a clinic or some type of counseling business and such. And so they've been protected under, again, fair housing laws. In many communities, they've got similar homes. I mean, the one in Forest Park, I believe, is the only one in Kokomo at this time. But I know initially, folks were concerned that it was going to be an Airbnb, and that's
that's what this is. I'm with you now. I remember the Airbnb concern. Yeah.
Right. And because it wasn't, then that's why, I mean, we had looked into it because there were a number of concerns, but unfortunately, the legal counsel had advised us that it was protected under fair housing.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's really nothing zoning can be put in place. The second part.
Correct.
Of that,
Yeah. Now, depending on, it would not be permitted if it was in close proximity. I mean, because of the number of, if they provide services to its clients or its residents, then there would be ways to enforce local ordinances for that type of facility.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Awesome.
right.
Well, thanks for those questions this week, everybody. If you have a question for the mayor for next week's show, just leave them in a comment below. We love getting a wide range and variety of questions.
Absolutely.
A big thing happened this week, and I'm not sure if either of you noticed.
What?
We did an Ask the Mayor segment. There were no questions on the topics of sidewalks or streets in the entire
Potholes,
episode.
yeah.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
This is where confetti is going off and
wow.
screaming. So well done, Kokomo. Really
Thank
good
you.
questions. this
Absolutely.
week. So yeah, if you have a question, just leave a comment below. Would love to get those. And we always put out a post on Monday. So we film this on Monday. It comes out on Tuesdays. But yeah, we always put a post out on our Facebook page, just asking for questions too. So watch that for Mondays. And yeah, thanks for Lexi's to be in the partner.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Lexi's.
All right. You got
Thank you, folks.
a dad joke for us?
Sure. Well, like we said, we woke up to snow and rain and such, but do you know what goes up when April showers come down?
The Wildcat Creek?
No, an umbrella.
There it is.
with. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you could have gone on that one.
I could have,
That's funny.
Yeah, a lot of things. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show. Thanks to IPTs and Family Fun Factory Outlet, Walls Furniture and Mattress, Lexi Strength Farm for being partners of the show. Like I said, if you have a question for next week, leave it in a comment below. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you, Kokomo.